What's going on, everyone? Today is a glorious day. Lakers basketball is back, ladies and gentlemen. The Los Angeles Lakers take on the Minnesota Timberwolves. Not for the first game of the regular season, because the Lakers do take on the Minnesota Timberwolves first game of the regular season, but the first game of preseason. I could not be more excited. I am looking forward to it. Getting back to the watch-along streams, as well as the post-game streams. I won't be doing the watch-along streams till the actual season begins. Just trying to get caught up, schedule lined up, all that stuff. But for the post-game streams, I'll definitely be doing that after this game today, as well as going forward. So look forward to the post-game streams going forward. And then once the season actually begins, then I'll do the watch-along streams along with the post-game streams after. But I'm excited, obviously, as I've relayed, as I'm sure many of you are as well. But beyond the excitement, we got 3 days of training camp out of the way, and it looked great, right? Guys were really standing out. Offense was flowing. You saw the consistent ball movement. You've talked about the attention to details. You've starting to see the difference between this regime and this coaching staff and Darvin Ham and his coaching staff. And I love what we're seeing. I've been very excited, hyping this team up, because I genuinely believe in this team. Again, does that mean we don't need a trade or anything like that? No, I still think if we want to be like bona fide contenders, but don't underestimate great coaching, right? This team is probably going to be one of the better offensive teams in the league. I do worry about the defense. Now, if all of our defensive pieces are healthy, that's great. That'll definitely go a long way defensively, but it's not in the starting five unless you eventually move Vando into the starting five and kind of go that route. But offensively speaking, Lakers are probably going to be top five at worst. I wouldn't be shocked if they're anywhere from 1 to 3 offensively. Can you be at least, kind of middle of the pack defensively? Ideally top 10 to at worst top 12. If you really want to try to win a championship, you probably need to be in that top 5 to 7. But like I said, you get to the playoffs, you trust LeBron James, trust Anthony Davis. But we're not quite to the regular season. Got a handful of preseason games, and the focus should be kind of building and growing as we inch closer to the regular season. Right? You don't need to unpack everything right now. You don't need to be this super team right away. Right? Like, use these preseason games to kind of figure things out. Not just that, but you're not going to be running your starters and all that stuff 35 minutes and, just going all in preseason. You're going to get a lot of looks at guys that may not even play during the actual regular season, right? JJ Redick's talked heavily about how he wants to keep that 9-man rotation. He said he's flexible. He said he's open-minded. If things need to be adjusted or things need to be changed, which is what I love about him and why I think he will have success, because he's not a guy that I believe is going to be married to an idea, right? Something I talked about with Darvin Ham. He didn't know anything outside of what he was taught by Mike Budenholzer. He could only stay in his box. As long as he could be in that box, he actually looked good, right? Like, there was times where he was out coaching Steve Kerr and just looking great. But then as soon as he had to get out of that box, everything just fell apart. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to adjust. He didn't know how to get off of what he knew. Where JJ Redick, I've talked about all offseason, he's a guy that I believe has a direction, has a clear path. But if at any point that path gets kind of murky, you can kind of go, okay, well, let's go over here. Right? Okay, let's go over here. We're right here. Ooh, we're close, right? Like, okay, let's do kind of a combination of this, right? Like, and he's going to be willing to adjust and do whatever's necessary to try to win, right? This is a time, though, that you want to kind of get out your hiccups, get out the nerves, right? No way JJ Redick's not nervous, right? There's no way that this team doesn't have, butterflies. It's the first game, right? Like, so go out there, get out all the angst, get out all the excitement, get out all the nerves, right? Like, start laying the foundation for the season going forward. Obviously, look, I want a win. I want to win every one of these preseason games. But it's not about just the wins and losses, right? Obviously, I don't want to lose every preseason game, right? But you go 50% or you win 70% of them, whatever, right? Like you have some wins, you have some losses. To me, it's more about the details in those games, right? Because again, you're not playing your starters 30, 35 minutes a game, right? Like this is just let guys kind of get their legs underneath them, work on your schemes, work on your sets, work on your different actions, right? Kind of see what guys are going to be part of the rotation, what guys look good, what guys don't. Right? You're going to see probably heavy doses of guys like Dalton Connect and Max Christie and stuff like that, more so than you probably will during the regular season. Right? I'm sure that they'll have stints and stuff, but for the most part, they're going to be a little more confined to 20, 25 minutes, whatever it is. But I could see them getting 30, 35 minutes. It's fine, right? But how is this team looking? How are the adjustments? How does it look when the starters are in the game? Right? Is it a little clunky? Right? Are they still, kind of a little stagnant? Right? Or are you seeing the clear strides? Even if the Lakers, let's say the Lakers shoot poorly, right? Like, is the ball moving? Right? Are we getting quality looks? And it's not falling, right? Like, those are the kind of things that I'm talking about. It's preseason, not so much about wins and losses. Again, you want to win every game. You want to kind of build and set the tone going into the regular season. But if the Lakers lose a game or two in preseason, it's not like, oh, this team's trash. No, it's preseason, right? We got to take things in perspective. We got to look at the situation at hand, right? If the Lakers win every preseason game, that doesn't mean like, oh, Lakers are NBA champions, let's go, right? Like, we still need to see what they do and how they translate during the regular season. Playing Minnesota in preseason is going to be a lot different than playing Minnesota in the opening night regular season game, right? There's going to be a lot of differences. And that's fine, right? That's what you expect. But we got to get off to good starts. We have to be consistent throughout the game. Our schedule is brutal to start the season. You can easily just, boom, be playing catch up like we have the last 2 years and climbing a hill that just is exhausting, right? Or you come out, you establish yourself right out the gate, and all of a sudden, you get dropped off midway off that hill becomes a lot easier, right? If you don't have to climb this hill all season long, and you don't have to work twice as hard to kind of just squeeze in, well then, it's going to be a better season. It's going to have a lot easier of a time. And there's going to be a lot more excitement. And there's going to be there's going to be better energy and vibes and all that stuff, right? Like, we need to see what we're seeing in training camp translate to the regular season, right? Again, this is where you work out the kinks. This is where you get through all the little hiccups, right? You go into this game, you look to win, but you look to make sure you're improving. You look to make sure you're doing the things that you worked on during training camp. You're kind of going through the process, going through the motions. And each preseason game, you start to get better and better and better, right? Like, I'd love if the Lakers just came out and looked fantastic and just blew out Minnesota by 40, right? Like, that'd be great. But even if that does happen, it's still preseason. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to be excited. Don't get me wrong, I'll be talking a lot of mess, right? Like, I'll be sitting in this chair, like, let's go, right? Like, but cooler heads prevail. You look at it what it is. I'll let my fandom, kind of leak out and then get back to, okay, like, let's put things in perspective. Same thing if they lose, right? If they lose by 40, I'm going to be upset, right? I'm going to be like, man, like that wasn't a good start, right? But in the same breath, again, kind of let my fandom out and then get back to, hey, first game of preseason. What is game 2? What is game 3? What is game 4? Like, how does this process look as we go game to game to game to game, getting ready for the regular season? Are we the same game 1 as we were, or as we are, game 4 or 5, right? Or is there real, like, oh no, like, the offense looks more smooth. Defense is looking better, right? Like, guys are getting more comfortable. Dalton Knecht had a rough game 1, but game 3, man, he was absolute money, right? Like, starting to see things settle in. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the details in these preseason games, as I do every year. And of course, we'll break them down and we'll talk about the game after the game in the post game stream. But I'm excited. I really am. And as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? Excited basketball's here? Excited Lakers basketball is back. Again, preseason. Keep that in mind. But also, watch-along streams will begin once we actually get into the season. Instead, just trying to play catch-up, get caught up on some stuff. So I can kind of focus on, hey, let's do these watch-along streams. Let's do these post-game streams. You know, 'cause you're talking like 4 hours of streaming, which I love. I do. I love it. So I hope to see all of you in the post-game streams as well as the watch-along streams. We kind of ride through this season together, good or bad. You know, we'll ride through it together. But I think this is going to be a very surprising season. I do. I think this is going to be a very good season. Is it going to be good enough to where we win a championship? I don't know. We'll see. But it wouldn't shock me, and I don't think anyone should really be surprised. But, yeah, as always, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of these videos as well as the streams. You know, turn on notifications so that way when the streams start, boom, you get that notification and all is good. But, again, see you guys in the next one. Appreciate you. Thank you.